Welcome to Aria Reserve. This is an amazing project, soon to become one of the most beautiful landmarks here in Miami. And today we wanted to bring over our audience and these people and a guest panel, a beautiful panel, because there's a public-private situation happening that is going to become one of the most beautiful bay walks in the world, hopefully. My panelists today, Commissioner Ken Russell, City of Miami. Thanks for being here.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Developer Carlos Melo. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Martin Melo,
Thank you, Sonia.
developer for Aria Reserve as well. And let's go directly into the topic, Commissioner. First, for the audience, what is a bay walk and what does the bay walk represent for a city like Miami?
First of all, thanks for having me. The greatest cities in the world have access for the public to whatever body of water is in front of them. Rio de Janeiro, even Tampa, Chicago. You have access to the water for your public. It's not just reserved for the private residents that live on the water. But doing that is very complicated from a jurisdictional perspective. You got private land, public land. Well, the city of Miami has it in our code from over 40 years ago that as private land develops, they must give that 25 to 50 feet of access, a sidewalk along the bay, but it hasn't happened. And so it's our dream to get it finished sooner than later.
It's been 40 years from all the information that we've got to actually make a bay walk happen. And right now, for the people who are tuning in and you're not here in Miami, we are in Edgewater, which is a neighborhood, Carlos, that has been here for the longest time. It's an historical neighborhood in Miami, but it has gone through a transition. And as developers, you've seen it all, right?
We start developing this area and not this project. The neighborhood in 2001 it was a completely different neighborhood. It was all small houses, and you have to start assembling those houses to create a site for a big building. And this process is difficult to get it. It took us 10 years to put these 5 acres together. Now we have the opportunity to create this big piece of bay walk that is not like the commissioner says, not for the project, it's for the neighborhood. Because now everybody can access to the bay and have the connectivity north to south. We are creating a plaza at the corner to give better access to that place too.
But Martin, this wouldn't have happened if developers actually wouldn't have come and developed in the area where you are next to a bay. But at the same time, you have the conviction that this is going to be better for the neighborhood, right?
Yes, it's an exciting moment after 20 years of working. Our office is 2 blocks from here, so we love this neighborhood. And adding 550 feet over the water of bay walk plus a plaza, I think it's a great addition for the community. It's something that everybody will enjoy, and we are happy that we will see that happen soon.
That's something, when you are buying a place to live, you are not buying only your unit. You are buying where the neighborhood, your connectivity, the surrounding, right? And those kind of things is enhance all the neighborhood.
I think the key question here would be, Commissioner, why did it take the City of Miami 40 years?
So the way the charter was written, and it went to the voters back in 1979, it was called the Dan Paul Amendment. And that amendment said that the private lands that were on the water would have to give their piece to the public. The only way they got it passed was to say that we weren't going to force them to do it immediately. They would do it when they would redevelop. And the issue is many of these places haven't redeveloped for the last 40 years. And so the city was able to take care of all of the city pieces. Any piece that's a park on the water or government land, we've actually activated as Baywalk. But a Baywalk doesn't exist until it's complete. we're only as strong as the missing link, right? And as long as there's missing teeth in that smile, you don't have access for everyone. So we've been relying on private partnerships to move more quickly. And I was able to pass an ordinance this year, actually, that will allow us to supercharge it and begin negotiating with the private partners to see who will go quickest and who will go first. But it doesn't get any better than when you have a willing partner, like Mellow Group, that's willing to actually come in and finish their piece.
So basically what you're saying is that if there's a developer who buys land left to its side and they don't have the commitment, technically it wouldn't happen, or at this point are we looking at an ordinance that is gonna, if you buy the land, you have to make it happen?
It's not when you buy the land, it's when you do vertical construction.
So if you don't do vertical, it won't happen.
And that's what happens. A lot of people will buy the land and sit on it, and then nothing happens, and nobody has access, and there's a missing piece.
Martin, when you see the way that Edgewater is developing, and what Commissioner Russell just said regarding the fact that Miami has become a vertical city, right? What are your thoughts on continuing to develop next to the water? As a developer, do you feel that this is something that you want to do?
Yes, I think as a developer it's very exciting. It's very nice to develop in front of the water, but the water is limited. So it's hard to buy a piece of land next to the water. It took us, as my brother said, more than 8 years to assemble this piece. And we are now in a position to create a beautiful framework, and we can build vertical in front of the water. That is a unique piece. I don't think we can replicate this in the future. I would love to, but it's the way it is.
Carlos, you mentioned that you came into this neighborhood 20 years ago, and it has been a whole development of a neighborhood, right? Can you narrate for the people who don't know Miami and they're watching us through all these social media platforms, what you found when you came into the neighborhood?
So before it was small houses that looks were good houses at that time, maybe 34 years ago, but it was abandoned. When we arrived in 2001, it was abandoned. It was many empty lots. It means that the people don't want to renovate their home when they lose their tenants, or the people don't want to live here because of the situation. They demolish the home. So we saw the opportunity. In reality, we didn't see the past. We saw the future. We said, okay, now this is the point where there is transition. Now everybody wants to live here, but that's good because now we have the opportunity to start new. We build today 8,000 units, around 8,000 units, and most of them are in Edgewater.
So you've been pioneers in the area, which is important and it's key.
The location, we have 3 beaches that connect Miami Beach to the land, and are all together 20 blocks, one from the other, and 18 minutes from the airport. It's at the back. And if you see, if you want to go vertical in Miami, like you say, you have the 36th Street to the Reckenbacker Causeway. That's it. It's all that we have in front of the bay. Edgewater, Art and Entertainment District, the downtown, right? And Brickell. And something else? That's it.
Commissioner, you've been through all this area, and this is part of your district, of course. What do you think are the challenges that Edgewater faces at this point?
Well, the question you asked earlier, Sabina, is whether or not it's a good idea to develop at the waterfront anymore. We have storm surge, we have sea level rise, we have massive issues coming toward us. But that's why the Baywalk is so important. It's not just about riding your bike or walking your dogs or jogging. This is our front line to storm surge and sea level rise. This is the bulwark. This is our frontage. And so when I first got into office, I reached out to our congressional representative at the time to see what resources we could find from the federal government to make this Baywalk not just an amenity, but a fortification of our city to protect our assets. And so it took more than 3 years for the Army Corps to come back with a plan. And you may have heard of this. They were willing to spend $8 billion on our Baywalk, but they wanted to make it a 20-foot wall. And we said, no. We'll take the money, but we need a better idea that is more organic to the community, yet still protects it. And that's what we're negotiating with them now. So we changed the ordinance for the city of Miami, so the code is different now. And this piece of Baywalk will have a higher seawall than we've had in the past. And so it'll have more protections for the neighborhood from storm surge coming over, from sea level rise for the future, and for resilience as a whole.
Martin, as from your development point of view, when you know that you are doing a project in front of the water, and it's important, of course, to control climate change and everything else, what are your thoughts when you have to deliver not only security, because we're in a hurricane zone, but we're also in a situation of climate change, but also quality of life? Is that something that you take into consideration?
Yes, of course, and thank you, Commissioner, for all your effort. How you did for this community. Of course, yes, we took that in consideration. We want the best lifestyle for our buyers, but also we know that Miami has a lot of resources and is much more prepared than any other city in the world for price level, as you can see. It's worry before it happens, so we can prevent these issues that other cities simply is going to happen and now we're thinking about. I'm very confident about Miami, the persisting price level and all that stuff. It's a city that has a lot of economic power to create this type of solution.
One of the key points, Carlos, that you mentioned when you gave your first answer was the fact that Miami was a city for the future. Why do you say that? It's a young city, but at the same time it's developing.
I think that it's a young adult today. Because you can have whatever you can find in the big city, you can find in Miami today. Our airport you can reach any place in the world from our airport. The port is very important, the commerce. We have all the Latin Americans that they feel that it's like the capital. Now, many states from the north are coming. 60% of our buyers in Aria Reserve are from the United States, and most of them are from other states. And when we do rentals, the same. We saw in the last 2 years that 25% of people that start renting the new development that we have are from other states.
So you envision Edgewater becoming a place where the people who have properties on the west side are going to come over to the Baywalk? Something happened there and I didn't notice. So you envision the people who rent on the west side of Edgewater coming all over to the east and this area becoming more walkable for more people to be on the street?
Of course. When you have a place to go, you go. If you don't have a place to go, it's difficult. But today is more people wanna be more freedom, right? To do whatever you want to do at the time that you want to do. There are different times for do your job from your home. It means that you see more people in the street than other times. It's
So Miami has become
8 to 5.
Miami has become more vertical, but also is a city where people can walk, bike. And that would be, I think, my last question to close. Commissioner, you are leaving your job soon. How do we make Edgewater and downtown more pedestrian friendly?
Yes.
Like Brickell, for example.
Urbanistic connectivity is the key. We, rather than just relying on cars or even public transportation, something like the Baywalk is our connector. Whether you ride a bike or whether you ride a scooter, whether you jog or walk, this is what's going to connect all of us. And the biggest change I think you're going to see is an activation of even food and beverage along the waterfront. People don't realize it, but in the city of Miami, we only have maybe 5 restaurants on the bay. And the reason is, it's very hard to get to them. And once the Baywalk connects, once this piece is done and the next few pieces are done, you'll be able to walk 5 miles along the waterfront and have access to all of that, the museums, the parks, and hopefully restaurants as well. So that's the best thing we can do for Edgewater, is to connect it to the rest of the city.
And that's basically part of the arts and entertainment district, right? So that's going to be a piece of land that's actually going to be key to connect the west side and the east side of Edgewater. Martin, Carlos, any type of conclusion about the Baywalk and this beautiful Aria Reserve we're sitting at, which is going to become, it's actually, for the people who don't know the project, even though we've been promoting it online, they're going to be identical towers with absolutely, I can say, the most amenities right now in Miami. So congratulations for that. Congratulations for making the Baywalk happen. When is it going to happen? Do we have like a date?
Well, my goal is that it happens in the next 4 years and not the next 40 years. We're only missing about 8 pieces on the bayfront now. And once we get that done, I've got 4 pieces in completion over the next 2 years. And then the rest is up to private development in the Edgewater area.
Wonderful. Martin, Carlos?
Thank you, Sabina. It's an exciting moment. I think adding this piece will help a lot to the Baywalk, and a lot of people in the community will enjoy it. I will enjoy it because I spend more than 8 hours in this neighborhood, so I'm happy.
A day. That's a lot. Carlos?
I want to say that I'm very happy to be part of the development of this city. The city of Miami is great. We're from Argentina, we moved here 20 years ago, but you feel from the first day that it's your home. And the city give you all the opportunities to do your dreams, right? And they work together with you to try to bring the best to the community.
Commissioner, any closing?
Just thank you again. This is one of the biggest missing pieces, and now that it's going to be complete, it's going to be an asset for the whole city. So thank you.
Commissioner Ken Russell, developer Carlos Melo, Martin Melo, thank you for our audience tonight. And Aria Reserve is here on 25th. You come through Biscayne, you come down, and you can see this beautiful building. And then we're finally going to have a Baywalk in this amazing city that deserves to be on the water. It's impossible for us as people from Miami to only have 5 restaurants on the bay. We need more development, we need to enjoy the ocean, and it needs to be a great piece of entertainment for everyone. Thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner.